Hey there everyone, it's me nirex and welcome back to Beginner C++ Programming. Now I know today's video was going to be about operators, but it's not. It's about input and output. Now you may feel free to skip it if you want, if you know what it's all about, but if you don't know, I suggest you watch it. So before we get to go on this subject today, what I want you to do is write exactly what I've written here. Now this guy right here might be a question, so is this guy, but don't worry, we will talk about them soon enough. This guy is going to be explained in function. I will tell you what it is, and this guy right here I will tell you what it is too when we get to later tutorials. But you don't really need it right now. You don't really need to know what this does, okay? Well, you need to know what this does, but you don't need to know what this does, okay? Include, we don't care about it. So what does iostream do anyways? iostream brings in a couple of things that we use to input and output things. But what does input and output mean anyway? Let me just show you something first, then I will explain it. So if I run this program right here, as you can see, you get a window like this. Now if I run cmd as well, you get a window like this. They look very similar to each other, with the exception of the icon, of course, the path, of course, the name of the window, and the biggest thing that we see here is different than the other one, is this guy right here. It has here it's written something. All right, mine is absolutely empty, but this guy, it has something here. Alright, so that's the first difference. Second difference is I cannot write anything in my own window. But here, I can actually say, for instance, dear. So I can actually say dear. I can say cd.android, for instance. I can again say, dear. Now, yeah, so it can take input from me and it can show some stuff, some bullshit to me, right? Now this stuff that we call bullshit, alright, this is the output. This is a set of text that I can see, and then based on the text that I see, I can then give it another input, and then it can show me another text. So it's kind of a input output system. And this is basically what CMD is, alright? Now here in this guy, I don't have any input, I can't have any output, there's absolutely nothing going on here. So, in order for it to show me anything, I need to actually let it show me things, alright? And for that, we use iostream. Now, I'm just telling you, this video is only for the fact that, when you see what I'm going to write here, in later videos, it's not going to be a total question mark for you. You're going to actually, understand what the heck is going on. So there are two things that we need to talk about. First off, it's this guy, okay? STD or STID. Now, it doesn't stand for sexually transferred diseases. It stands for standard, okay? So don't get that wrong. Standard is, let me actually explain this guy to you. So this guy is called a header file. A header is like a library, alright? And within a header file, there are sections, just as there are in a library, or there can be sections. STID is just a section in this library, okay? In this header file that we can use to access different books and different functionalities, and then use those books to do what we want. Now that was just an example. So STID is a section in this dude right here. And STID itself has some things to offer. Things like cout. Alright? This is not read count. This is cout. It's read like that. So, cout, it's pretty obvious what it is. Now, IO stands for input and output. And output, you know what it is, right? So, if I do something like is not recognized as an internal or external command. So, it means that it doesn't really recognize it. It's an invalid input. But to tell me that, it gave me an output, right? It showed me a text. So output is basically that. When you want to show some sort of text in your console, in your application, you use it like this. Okay, cout, two of these marks, and then whatever text you want. Now keep in mind, text is written in these guys. We will get to that too when we talk about string, and particularly arrays, which are, I think, the next one of the next one. Yeah, they're right here. We will talk about strings and all that good stuff when we get to arrays. Not just yet. Just know that when you want to make a string, make a text, you use a double quotation mark. Okay, double quotation, and then you can put whatever text you want within it. But don't get your head too much into this. It doesn't really matter. What we're talking about is this guy. All right. So when you want to print something to the console, you use cout. Now, if I run this guy, you can see that text is written here. Easy peasy lemon goddamn squeezy. Now, cout is obviously for output, but there's one more thing instead that we use, which is cin. Again, it's not read as sin, it's cin. Okay? Cin, for instance, let me make a variable. You should already be familiar with variables. So int I, we could also initialize it. I could just say something like that. So I can say, for instance, enter value, and then cout, again, print it. Oh, sorry. I. So this is basically as simple as it gets. But there might be a question for you. How do you memorize this dude? Just not to ever make mistakes. When it comes to the function of cout, okay, you want to give something to the console so that it can print it for you, okay? It's outside of your application, so cout. Now, you're giving something away. You're giving something to the cout, yes? What are you giving? This guy. So, this is how you memorize it. Wherever these guys are pointing to, the data is going that way. So, enter value is going to go to the cout. It's gonna go out. Now, cin data is going to go into I, right? So this is basically how you memorize it. Cout data is going to go towards cout. Cin data is going to go towards the variable we've made. And that's basically it. So let me just run this application and tell you how it is. So it says enter a value. I can enter like 15, and then it gives me the same value back. Printed 15. So you can write whatever you want like this. All right? All that stuff is good and dandy. There are a couple of more things that we should talk about, but I'm going to leave that for the string tutorial, not just yet. There will be a string section as well. One more thing I need to tell you before we close this video off is the endl. Alright? Endl stands for end line, so you can just put it in stream and it'll end your line. So if I put, for instance, an endl here, I will be printed in the next line. So enter value 10, and as you can see, 10 has been printed right here. Okay, so that's that, and we will, again, don't worry about this guy, don't worry about this guy, don't worry about this guy. We will talk about all of them in a video pretty goddamn soon. So yeah. Don't worry about it. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, maybe even leave a comment. If you really enjoyed it, do subscribe. It would really help me a lot. And thank you very much. See you in the next one.